So my physical height is 5'9", but I identify as 7'1". I've always felt taller than other people.
Wokeness and delusion are like two peas in a pod. Brace yourself to see these two elements in action. This level of wokeness really does something to the brain. Don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and hit that subscribe button to not miss more moments just like these.
Black people have rightly said they don't want to be referred to as the N-word. All decent people respect that wish and don't use language that minority communities find offensive. And I think that's simply what trans people are also asking. Clearly, as someone who grew up in the 1970s and saw the National Front march through immigrant areas using inflammatory language against black and Asian people, terrorizing those people, which did spill over into violence, attacks on Asian homes and shops, temples and mosques. I don't want to see a repeat of that.
Let's move this a little and say this, and the words he, him for a man are just the very ordinary words. They're not the equivalent of the N-word. I think the equivalent to the N-word.
Whoever this woman is, we hope her favorite morning beverage is always ready before she wakes up. It gets even better. Notice how cricket sounds oozes out of that man? Yeah, that's what happens when logic meets stupid. Let's take a look at another non-thinker, shall we?
LGBTQ.
What's up?
You heard me.
I actually didn't.
LGBTQ.
I give you the mic, and we hear what you have to say. And then I'm going to answer you, and you'll hear what I have to say, what everybody else here has to say. Does that sound like a good deal?
I don't need the mic. Yes. I can speak louder.
Well, stand up, tell me your name, and state your question.
My name's Alexis Case, and I grew up here.
Okay?
In this town. LGBTQ is a serious situation in this world today. There are children that get bullied because they are gay, they're lesbian, they're transgender. I don't need that.
Okay. You're welcome to have it if you want.
I don't need it.
You get to ask your question, but after that, you're going to hear me give my answer. So I'll let you finish.
What is your stance on LGBTQ?
Thank you for your question. I'm going to answer it. I'm going to go into a level of depth that I don't usually go into on a campaign trail, but I'm going to do it because you asked the question. You deserve an answer. LGBTQIA, there's so many letters, they've just added a plus at the end. That's where we are now. What's going on? So the same movement, because if we're going to call that one thing, let's play it fair. The same movement that said that the sex of the person you're attracted to is hardwired on the day you're born. That was the premise of the gay rights movement, for it to count as a civil right. That movement is now saying that your own biological sex is totally fluid over the course of your life. You can't believe both those things. Well, I think I'm going to get to a deeper sense. That's where I was about a year or two ago, but I think there's something deeper going on, and I'll tell you what it is. So the same movement, and by the way, let's think about the women's rights movement in this country, which said there's many ways to be a woman. You can have long hair, short hair, you can wear a skirt, you can wear jeans. Now says that, oh, if actually you want to behave a certain way, that means you're a man. So I think that the hypocrisies go all the way down, and I'll tell you what's going on. You can't believe both of those things at the same time if you're operating according to principles of sheer logic. But you can if you're adopting a faith, a cult-like belief system. So, this is controversial for me to say, but I'm going to tell you what I think. I believe that transgenderism specifically is a mental health disorder. I believe it's a mental health condition. No, we're going to finish this. This is good. We have to have open conversation in this country. But I don't think the compassionate thing to do.
Health disorder.
Well,
it's how they feel.
Well, let me. If I'm going to give you a chance to respond if you'd like, but we can't have an open debate in this country if we're not able to state our views.
That's how they feel.
Well, the truth must have made his, her, or their chair uncomfortable. Luckily, it did not end there. There's a bit of a happy ending.
Not able to state our views.
That's how they feel.
That's how they feel. And you know what? I'll tell you a story, and you deserve to hear this. I met two young women in this race about 6 months ago. Their names were Chloe and Katie, two young women. They're in their 20s now. Both of them had their breasts cut off. One of them had her uterus removed. They're in their 20s. They regret that decision. One of them wants to have kids. She'll never have kids. The other one will never breastfeed her children. They'll never be the same because they had that done to them when they were teenagers. So no, when a young person shows up and says, my gender doesn't match my biological sex, they're asking for help. They happened to them when one girl was 13 when it happened to her. She's in her 20s now and regrets it. This is what's wrong in this country. We will look back at this and say this was barbaric that we allowed this to happen in this country. That is not compassion. That is cruelty. And so I don't think the right thing to do is, I'm not going to villainize those people. You don't villainize people who are going through suffering, but you have to be willing to say when a kid shows up and says, my gender doesn't match my biological sex, you have to be able to say, what else is going wrong at home? What else might be going wrong at school? Get to the bottom of what's going on. Help that person with compassion, with dignity.
A handshake. Another Wokey who saw reason. Victory. Will the next Wokey be the same?
Yes or no, you judge a guy based on height? You do? I judge based on weight, and that's something you can change. So I got a scale right here. I just want to see like how heavy. Your turn. 174.
That must have been so embarrassing. Well, make your bed and lie on it.
Spirits don't move me. I'm gonna go. Spirits don't move me. We good.
Ma'am, this is not the LGBTQ parade. Sorry, the zoo.
Hey guys, update. I didn't get the job. I just got the email. I'm guessing my parents had a lot to do with it.
That is Miss White. Her content surrounded how difficult her life was after her face tattoos. According to White, she got the tattoos against her will. A boyfriend had gotten her drunk, and she woke up in a hotel room sexually assaulted and tatted. Guess what? It was all a lie.
My son does identify as a cat, but I cannot take him to a vet because I tried that, and the veterinarian told me that because he has human anatomy, that he does not know how to work on him or diagnose him with anything, and he legally cannot. So, and while I do think that is a form of discrimination, because, you know, my son, if he says he's a cat, he is a cat, and he needs to be treated like that, like one, you know. But I'm not gonna press charges because I know that he could lose his license if he did work on my son. So I'm not gonna try to sue him or anything, so don't worry. But this is something that I want to raise awareness on, because I do think that people that identify as an animal should be able to go to the vet. You know, that's the medical attention that they're wanting. And so I really do appreciate you asking this question. I think it's an important topic that we discuss, because if we don't, we're never going to make progress. And these people that identify as cats are going to have to continue going to human doctors, and I just don't think that that's fair.
She is absolutely right. Somebody get that child to a vet and have his mother sign a consent form. We need to make progress.
Completely unfamiliar with child sex dolls, so I had, of course, to Google it last night. It's a little scared to put it in my search engine, but I did. And apparently there is research on the subject. Not much, but there are what they call MAPs, minor attracted persons. And the limited amount of research that's done on these dolls, guys, suggests that they actually, for people who are attracted to minors, that these dolls actually decrease their proclivity to go out and attack children. That it actually gives them a release that makes them less likely to go outside of their home. And what was interesting is the research did not support the same conclusions for people who were adult attracted using dolls. That did not diminish their proclivity to engage other people, but for those with the... So I'm just a little concerned that, and like I say, the research is not very good, it is not comprehensive, but the research that is out there is conclusive.
And she just kept talking. Ma'am, please get some help.
I don't know who needs this reminder, but apparently a lot of y'all do. I am not a man. I am not assigned male at birth. I am an assigned female at birth, femme, non-binary person. If there is a choice between a man and a bear, I'm the one that gets to choose. Also, so it's not a choice. Stop fucking saying, oh my God, I would totally choose the bear over you just because I'm standing up for liberation. Okay? You don't get to choose between me and the bear. Okay? I get to choose between a man and a bear. And if anything, I am the fucking bear that will tear apart the man who hurts you. Do you understand me? Like, and the fact that men do not understand why we would choose the bear literally just proves everything. Stop treating me like I'm a man. I spent the majority of my life being read and treated as a woman, and I still do. So, seriously, stop treating me like a man. Do you understand me? Also, it doesn't even matter what I was assigned at birth, but it does matter how I was socialized as. Honestly, it does matter. And I was socialized as female, okay? I was socialized as a woman, and I hold all of those traits all the way through. I will never choose the man, because I will always choose.
Assigned female at birth. So you're trying to be a man, because you look like a man. Oh wait, you're trying to be a trans woman. There's so much confusion in the American air. You are right about one thing, however. You are the bear, the unbearable Wokey.
Mostly I feel feminine or non-binary. Today I'm feeling really femme and cat-like as well. Yeah. But I also feel masculine, mostly boyish. I don't ever really want a hoo-hoo. I'm proud to have a hoo-ha. But I also, sometimes want to take these guys off. But other times I'm happy to have them. I love to play with them. I love them. Other days I want to tape them down. I'm running out of time. But yeah, I go through stages of feeling feminine, non-binary, and sometimes boyish.
Anyone else feel sick and tired of this whole fiasco? We should think about mental institutions for our poor feelers. That's the only legitimate feeling right now.
Not carrying a child or being in a position as a woman should not have an opinion on that.
You thought you ate. Now watch this. If that's the case, if a woman decides to have the baby, why is a man then obligated to take care of it? It was her decision. If she can decide if it live or dies, I can decide if I want to take care of it or not, right? Okay then. All right then. All right then. For the record, I do not think that any father should decide not to take care of their child the same way. I don't feel like any mother should decide to abort their child. I believe that two grown people laid down and knew what would happen. They were educated and they knew what the result of sex would be. I got kids. I take care of all of my kids.
That is the equality we have hunted down for years, is it not? If she's allowed to not want to, why does he have to?
Would you like me to put my sign up high?
Sure.
Save the planet! Save the cows! And the vegan! Upcharge now! Save the planet! Save the cows! And the vegan! Upcharge now! Save the planet! Save the cows! And upcharge now! Save the planet!
For some reason, these wokies were mad at Starbucks for not being vegan, and my guy across the street had a sign saying soy milk sucks, free speech, free country.
When you harp on your right to distinguish between men and women, are you afraid that you're going to be attracted to trans women?
I'm not.
You sir? Are you positive? Why is it that you harp on your right to distinguish between men and women? If you can always tell, why is it Why is it so hard?
Well, because it's not even merely that you're putting on a dress, it's that you and people who identify as transgender are infringing upon rights and spaces that properly belong to women. So when you ask me, why do you care about this issue? The reason is because we live in society and we have political rights, and also because we care for the truth.
This biological male in a dress somehow believes that standing against the insanity that trans women are allowed to do in women's world would somehow make you attracted to trans women. Didn't they used to just call you transphobic? Now it's a secret crush. Sheesh. Talk about being out of touch with reality and too in love with Wattpad plots.
Basically, we just trying to get him to understand where everybody's coming from.
And where are you coming from?
I don't know about this. I told you, I don't know.
At a Free Palestine protest / Pride parade, this reporter goes around trying to understand people's views on the issue. And are we really shocked by this response? They never know anything. Somebody makes a post and they all flock to make some noise.
Do you want to talk about sort of transitioning or anything like that, or like what people can do?
I never transitioned because I was born a woman.
No, of course you're a woman, of course.
I was born a woman.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm not here challenging that at all. We're like out here. The whole thing is like being proud and it's like supporting.
Trans woman any less of a woman?
No, you are a woman. That's what I'm saying.
No. Does it make a trans woman any less of a woman?
No, you are 100% a woman.
Is a trans woman any less?
No, 100%. All women are women.
This reporter asked this woman about her supposed transition, and she did not seem very pleased by the assumption. Isn't that confusing? If you support something, shouldn't you be proud of being associated with it? Man, oh man.
2 bowls here, right? One is full of vegetables and one is full of meat. Let her go.
Oh, she's obviously gonna go, obviously. Oh, you little...
Yes.
I didn't swear.
Oh.
Did you know dogs could become vegan? Well, this dog owner claimed to have groomed her dog into veganism. Now, every claim should be proven right or wrong, and it's no surprise that this one was wrong. Maybe we should raise carnivorous bunnies next.
The wealthy should pay their fair share.
Yes, wealthy should pay their fair share.
What is a fair share? What percentage?
So you're saying that you're saying that they're paying their fair share is what you're saying?
No, I'm asking what percentage is a fair share?
Their fair share, the same, if a third of my money is going to taxes, then I think a third of their money should be going to taxes. It does. Well, it does.
I'm trying to understand because you realize the effective tax rate on the poor is less than it is on the rich, right?
Okay, so first of all, I'm not the poor. I'm very close to that line, but I'm not the poor.
Okay, so the effective tax rate on the middle class is less than it is on the rich, correct? What fair share would you like to change the tax rate to on the wealthiest what percentage of Americans so it's a fair share?
So let's say the wealthy 1% could pay, let's say if they paid, let's just give them 45%.
First, this activist believed that the rich were somehow paying less taxes than the poor. Then, when confronted with the facts, she started to stutter. As if that's not bad enough, her last resort was that the rich pay almost half of their taxable income. Empathy and tolerance must only be for the ones we choose to like, no?
Is there a question in there or a speech?
Yes.
You gotta ask a question, buddy. I know you wrote this out in your notes, but ask a question. Let's go.
How do you think other people who, with your beliefs, respond to the fact that your hateful and harmful rhetoric costs the lives of queer children every single day, on average, every 45 seconds?
Okay, so this is just going to be a pure boogeyman. You're pretending that someone committed suicide because of Candace Owens. You've got no facts here. You're just going, it's your rhetoric that's causing all of this. When in reality, you want to talk about the tea. I sat down with a man named Walt Heyer who was convinced to chop his penis off after your community told him that there was something wrong with him because he had confusion. Why was he trans? Because he was molested when he was 4 years old by his uncle. Rather than being sat down and spoken to by a psychologist, he was handed hormone pills, and he eventually chopped off his penis. Walt Heyer is now 80 years old. He detransitioned, and he does a lot of work talking about why it is that he runs a charity, okay, an actual charity that is dedicated to sex change regret, of people who have changed their parts and can't go back. And you know what happens? Suicide rates go up after they transition. And Candace Owens wasn't the one that chopped their dicks off.
After reading the lengthy essay he has prepared, this wokey finally asks a question. Pregnant Candace Owens is unmatched, and she's absolutely right. There's nothing wokies love more than to pull victim statistics out of thin climate change destroyed air.
I think I didn't give permission to film me. I don't want to be filmed. Public suit, you don't need your permission. Cool.
You literally walked up to him and took a photo without his permission.
Yeah, I'm not being put on TV, though, you know?
Are you worried you're going to come off looking stupid?
No, it's not something I want to debate. That was just very typical of the level of intelligence. Oh, he's back.
Don't you find it funny that you said you don't want to be on film, you walked up, you took a photo without his consent, then you complained about being filmed without consent, and then you just won't leave us alone?
Being interviewed and photographed, you know?
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Okay, so you didn't have to answer. It's just being photographed without consent is the same thing.
I want to be interviewed.
And you're still here.
Parents, please give your children maximum attention as they grow up. If not, they might just end up becoming another dummy in a blue jacket begging to show up in a video. If you do not want something, walk away from it. If you do not agree, feel free to argue.
Name one example of one thing that's ever been given out for free by the government, because there's nothing that's free. It's paid for by somebody at some point at some level of distribution.
How about Jeff Bezos, who has like $50 billion or something? He can afford to pay for that, right?
How did Jeff Bezos get his money?
By exploiting his laborers and not paying them enough.
If he's exploiting them, why do they work for him?
Because they don't have another opportunity.
But have you ever used Amazon?
No, I actually, no, I don't buy from them.
You use Starbucks.
Okay.
So Starbucks, that's a billionaire. You know how rich Howard Schultz is? So you're participating in his exploitation.
Starbucks has better working conditions for their employees, though.
Well, how do you know that?
Because they have like a $15 minimum wage.
Wait, so Starbucks billionaire good, Amazon billionaire bad.
I would not like either of them to be billionaires.
Then why are you buying Starbucks? You're participating in the market economy.
Well, it's impossible to buy things without participating in the market economy.
You could have went to a farmer's market. You could have bought something outside.
There's no farmer's market here.
There's no local coffee in Columbus at all.
No, not near my house.
There's no non-billionaire coffee distributors. The point is, it's very easy to critique billionaires while you swish your Starbucks latte back and forth. Made possible by a guy that wanted to become a billionaire. Why? Because of a profit motive.
This was made possible by the workers who made it, not by some guy.
No, it's actually made possible by you, the consumer. The workers wouldn't have a job if you didn't buy their product.
So much to unpack. You hate the ones who have worked to become wealthy. You don't want billionaires to exist. You definitely wouldn't mind being a billionaire, but let's stay on track. Woke Americans hate anyone better than them, and they do not intend on working on becoming better people, period.
What about folks who have wombs but are not women, like trans people, genderqueer folks? Why do you keep saying women when this issue affects more than women?
Because there are two genders, male and female.
I am non-binary. I have a friend who is intersex, who is born, who has different chromosomes than you would expect somebody physically to have. Because how many people in this room had a chromosomal test? This issue affects more than women. It affects trans men. It affects genderqueer folks.
Women have wombs.
I am not a woman, and I have a womb.
You are a woman.
I know. No.
Trans must always find its way into every discussion. And why is everyone so triggered? It's basic biology.
Is a man less of a man if he can't change a flat tire?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Is a woman less of a woman if she can't cook a meal from scratch?
We're biased, we're women. No, that's not a good answer.
There it is, the entirety of the feminist movement in this. Generation inequality. Don't you just look stupid getting tossed by cars in public. Please just get out of the streets.
Choices. Who would you say is more likely to be supportive of the LGBTQ community?
Oh, this dude.
Okay, why would you say that?
Because he's a brown person and he's not for Trump.
Do you think the fact that he's part of Hamas would stop him from supporting that community?
Not at all.
Probably number one.
Number one?
Palestinians.
Why would you say that?
Because Trump supporters are typically anti-LGBT.
Do you think, so somebody that's a member of Hamas, would they support the LGBTQ community?
I'm not sure. Let's see.
Number one? Okay, what makes you say that?
They just look kinder.
Kinder. Do you think that, you know, somebody that's, say, a member of Hamas would be supportive of the gay community? Yeah. What do you think? Yeah.
Well, you guys are in for a surprise. Would you like to spend the summer in the kind-looking man's country? This just shows that people only see what they choose to see.
Done. I'm done. Seriously done. The Supreme Court has pissed me off so much right now. Like, so much. Joe, you're a reasonable man. You don't want to do this, but here's the reality. This is a war. This is a war now, and we are fighting for our country. And these are going to take it away. They're going to take it away. You, Clarence Uncle Thomas. You. Joe, you now have the right to take that Trump out. Take him out, Joe. If he was Hitler and this was 1940, you'd take him out. Well, he is Hitler and this is 1940. Take him the out. Blow him up. Blow him up or they'll blow us up.
Did she say done or dumb? Either way, yes, you are dumb, and yes, we are done. Have any of these people heard about digital footprints?
Can we talk about illegal immigrants? Because our country is literally full of them. And I'm talking specifically about the whiteys, the Caucasians, the white people in America. They literally are here illegally. Their ancestors are criminals that came here illegally. And I don't know, maybe in the future we can do like a mass deportation, like all these white Americans they can go be refugees in Europe or something. Or like we can like have like a spot in America where like the refugees can go, and obviously we'll provide them with care and stuff, but it's important that they do it the right way. Just because their ancestors didn't doesn't mean they should get the benefits of that. And I think that they should become they should be deported until they can like work their way back and get a citizenship the right way, like the way I did it. I did all the paperwork. They should also have to, because again, we don't need more criminals in this country. It's already full of them.
Okay, she needs to take the most delusional wokey award at the next Pride Parade. This is just unmatched.
So since the Supreme Court just came down with some kind of bullshit decision saying that one man is above the law in this country, even though the Constitution says quite different and they're supposed to uphold constitutional law, so I don't know what Constitution they read to get the answer for this, but since they say that a president is immune from prosecution for anything he does officially while he's in office, I think that Joe Biden should officially have Donald Trump killed off, and that would solve this problem of him being too stupid to run our country for 4 more years because he's brain dead. But he could win the election that way. Take the official stance and just shoot Donald Trump right there on 5th Street. The Supreme Court said you could.
This obviously threatening and terroristic video is allowed to stay on the internet, but if you call a man, sir, you're an older citizen. You are expected to be wise.
What formal education do you have?
Plenty.
I mean, formal education.
If you're going to argue from authority, that's a logical fallacy. Tell me why I'm wrong. Don't tell me how many degrees you have. I'm actually, I would argue I'm more informed because I didn't go to college and I've traveled the world and I've met with world leaders and I've read many books. So tell me, how am I oppressive? Can you name one example of how I'm oppressive? Can you name one? Name one example of how I'm oppressive because you just said it. Well, no, they just don't have facts. Can you tell me one time that I've been wrong about anything I've said?
I had no idea. Thank you very much.
Anytime. Maybe if you didn't go to college, you would learn more.
Get a degree if that's what you desire. You just need to understand that you need to apply yourself beyond the walls of a classroom to be a balanced individual. You can be academically intelligent and societally moronic. Need an example? This formally educated young man right here. Did you know that wokies do not like J.K. Rowling? The Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling. Well, watch this.
So these guys want to talk about
J.K. Rowling? Is that so? What's going on with that? What do you want to know?
She's had a pretty controversial past. I just want to know, like, what are your thoughts on it? Like, do you still like her work despite her bigoted opinions?
So let's get specific though. Let's define bigoted opinions. What opinions are bigoted? We're going to treat this as a thought experiment. I'm not going to say what's right or wrong or what way to think. The whole point is to learn how to think, not what to think.
Yeah.
So when you say bigot, you're starting with the conclusion that given her bigoted opinions.
Yeah.
So first let's start with, does she have bigoted opinions? So when you say bigoted opinions.
She has had a history of being extremely transphobic, I've heard.
And you've heard, so what, can you give me an example?
If you look at her Twitter, I think you could see a few things. If you want, I could try and find
see
something.
See if you can find one.
So, one of these tweets that she came out with in 2019, she said, "Dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, sleep with any consenting adult who will have you live your best life in peace and security, but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real."
So you find that bigoted? What do you find about
it? Was deemed transphobic. Like, I myself.
Do you find that transphobic yourself?
I don't really have an opinion on it, but I'm just going with what a lot of other people have said.
So let's pause there. Let's not go with what other people are saying. Let's try and learn how to critically think. So let's analyze the tweet ourselves. So that statement, do you see anything problematic? Disregarding other people's.
It is so obvious that these people have no opinion of their own. That's not all. This smart educator absolutely owned this conversation.
So that statement, do you see anything problematic? Disregarding other people's opinions.
She did try and pin some things on a specific group of people.
Where does she do that? Can you read that?
But force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real.
So when I hear that, I'm interpreting that as meaning if a woman says that, saying that there is a difference between men and female and then being attacked as transphobic, I think that's what she's saying by attacking someone for stating that sex is real.
That is exactly what she's saying.
Is that transphobic to you?
So, to me, no. Stating that sex is real is not transphobic. It's just a fact of life. It exists.
So is there anything you disagree with in that tweet?
In that tweet, I can't really see anything that I myself disagree with, but I can see why some people would think, oh, this is offensive. We can't have that here or something, because there's an apology tweet.
Let's read that. What did she say there? I haven't read that.
"I respect every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them. I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans. At the same time, my life has been shaped by being female. I do not believe it is hateful to say so."
You see anything problematic there?
She's apologizing, so no, not really. If I could read it again.
It sounds like a very similar statement as what she was just saying. She's basically saying, like, I have nothing, to me, this is what I interpret it as, I have nothing against someone being trans.
Exactly.
It's your life, but you just don't get to impose on you can live how you want, I can live how I want.
Yeah.
And let's all,
Exactly.
How refreshing is it to actually think for yourself and not just go with the crowd? Dear Wokey, please and please, just take a moment to think. It's so much better.
He stopped.
What's going to replace your glasses? They're made of plastic.
Maybe. I don't know what they're made out of.
They are. Your water bottle in front of you. That's plastic.
Great.
Your cell phone there. Is it plastic?
The cases.
The components made out of it's not from plastic. Yeah, they are. The clothes you have on, I guarantee have plastic in it. The shoes you have on your feet, the soles of those shoes are plastic. So you use plastic. Everybody here is depending on plastic. So if you want to end it, then quit using it. If you believe it, then live it then.
Do you ever wonder who comes up with the next protest cause for these people? Because it's obvious that they just really like to talk a lot but don't actually know anything.
It's a woman.
What is a woman?
It's your mama. That's right. You that confused? Let me come and watch it, I'll tell you. It sure ain't your daddy.
That's right. Go ahead. That's right.
What is a woman? Now that transgender want to take away the title mother from the women.
Lord.
Yeah, all you women that got babies, they don't want the women now to be called mothers. They want them to be called baby carriers.
What?
You know, like you're a freight liner. Baby carriers. And you know these dumb, ignorant congressmen is considering it.
Your mama.
President Biden joining in on the conversation. We didn't know what a woman. We didn't know what a woman is. A woman is your mama.
Wasn't that just a refreshing watch? Now let's go back to the next delusional person.
Donald Trump has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. She's gonna eat it. Did you say?
She's gonna eat it. LMAO.
Did you just put a cigarette into his mouth? That's... Oh, it's the video, if that's okay. I'm not judging. You're both consenting adults. Can I please capture your interactions? Thank you. Very kind of you. I wish everyone was as cool as this. Ladies and gentlemen, we have two consenting adults.
Okay, that has to be illegal somehow. What alphabet is for the kinky wokies again?
You know that less than 10% of rapes are actually reported.
Okay, where's that?
To the cops.
Where's that?
It's from all of the women's organizations. You can look it up online. You can find it through the socialized organizations that study rape. I participate with an organization that works as a rape crisis center. No, based on the unofficial reports, the third-party reporting, and the direct reports, this is not a secret that about 10% of rapes are reported.
So how do you know 10% of rapes are reported if the others aren't?
Because those people call the women's centers, they ask for help, they seek medical attention.
Statistics needs to be reintroduced into the curriculum.
What a brilliant idea! What do you mean just stop oil? All your stuff is made out of oil, you idiots. Your clothes, these jackets, they're all made out of oil. What the hell are you doing here making a nuisance of yourself? It's a joke! What a joke! What are you doing here? Get off the road! You're wasting everybody's time and petrol! All these guys, their engines are running all the time, wasting more bloody oil than nutters. What is this made out of? What are your clothes made out of? How did your clothes get here? They got here by oil. What are you doing? This makes no sense at all. Just stop oil. You haven't thought about this. If you want to stop oil, you need to stay at home and go live in the forest.
Hear that? If you want to stop oil, you need to stay at home or go live in the forests.
Getting upset about the fact that you keep having these barbecues. You know full well that I'm a vegan and I have very strong principles about protecting animals and our environment. And I feel like with you just kind of take, and that smell that comes across to my garden is making me feel ill.
You chose to be a vegan, not me. I mean,
you don't need to talk to me like that.
I am being considerate. So you only have 3 barbecues.
Oh right, that's being considerate, is it? Well, that's affecting my mental health if I'm really completely honest.
This very neighborly vegan decided to police what cuisine her next-door neighbor was allowed to make in his backyard. The smell of good barbecue is bad for an already deteriorating mental health, apparently.
It just makes you a dumbass hoe.
Me?
Yeah, you.
How's that make me that?
What do you mean?
Why does it make me that for not kissing you?
Because anyone here would.
Really?
Yeah, I bet. Watch this.
All right, go get a guy. Prove it to me.
Okay, wait. Watch this.
A shot of reality with a dash of humility for this young lady who believes any random stranger would gladly kiss her.
You know, we have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Everything woke. Everything woke. It's true. Everything woke turns to shit, okay? It's true.
Hey everyone. So, I had a date today, and I just need to vent. My date didn't show up, and everything was fine. I've been talking to a girl. I'm only interested in dating women. I'm not interested in dating men. And this morning we were texting back and forth, and I told her I was a trans woman, and she acted like she was fine with it. But I can't help feeling like the reason she didn't show up today is because of that. And it's just my opinion, but I don't think that's okay. I don't think it's okay to not date someone simply because of who they are or how they identify.
Is this satire? This has to be the biggest joke. Maybe this is the most delusional wokey. There are too many of them. They all deserve the award.
I am a 27-year-old transgender woman. I am a Wolfarian and a member of the furry fandom.
When and how did you discover this inner wolfness?
Probably around age 10 or 11. I was watching an anime about wolves and see the wolf running across the screen, and I'm somehow just intrinsically like, oh, that's me.
Have you spent any time around biological wolves?
Yes.
That sounds super dangerous also. What context are you?
So I was a volunteer with a preserve, and I've also visited many wolf preserves.
Are you able to communicate with the wolves?
Am I going to have a conversation with a wolf in the way that I'm communicating you and I? Obviously not. Am I going to read their body language, respond appropriately to their behaviors and their nonverbal cues? Yes.
Would you be able to give us an example of this wolf communication?
No. I'm not comfortable doing so.
Okay.
She's 27 years old and has taken Halloween way too seriously. You communicate with wolves. We saw Batman at 10 and tied tablecloths around our necks. No one is standing on skyscrapers today and waiting for the city to call. Get some help.
Honestly, don't know what to do, but there was a really bad experience. Basically, I was just getting a drink at the bar, and they called both Azul and I ladies. After they were done making the drink, I went up and I was like, some people don't refer to themselves as ladies, but it's okay that you didn't know. I'm in a gay bar, so I should feel safe. So bad turned her around. They got so mad at me, and they took the drink away from my wife and I. He hit the bar, because he was like, are you serious? You're doing the same thing to me. How? And then they kicked us out.
So somebody get her a tissue. If it's okay that the bartender didn't know, just get your drink and move on with your life.
Life expectancy has increased over time, which we would expect. But for one group, since 2000s up until now, life expectancy has actually decreased. This is middle-aged white men. The reason for this is actually mostly self-induced.
Sure, so life expectancy has nearly doubled since 1900.
No, I'm talking about specifically for white men since 2000
correct. So
who are
let
middle-aged.
me finish the sentence without getting 6 words into it, I let you talk about whatever you wanted to talk about. The byproduct of why white men are having lower life expectancy since 2000 is self-induced.
Slow down. I'm sorry, it's
Am
hard
I talking too fast for you?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
you are actually.
Okay, then I'll slow down. It is self-induced, meaning they are making bad choices. So America's a wonderful country because if you make good choices, you get rewarded, and if you make bad choices, you have bad things happen to you. So let me ask you a question. What is the primary cause of death for middle-aged white men?
No, so my question...
No, answer the question because you're a subject matter expert on this.
I know, that's what I was going to say. Can you clarify? You said the reason that this issue
choices.
is that they are making bad choices.
So what is the primary...
This is the entire population of middle-aged white men.
Right, so if you can answer my question, since you're a subject matter expert on it, what is the primary cause of death for middle-aged white men?
Cancer or heart
disease. What is the
or
number,
heart disease.
What is the number one reason for heart disease?
Okay, so let's move on from that.
So are facts something you don't want to talk about
I
tonight,
am talking about facts, and what I was asking you is life expectancy for middle-aged men has decreased since 2000. This is a fact.
This is heart disease.
No,
which is a
no, I
byproduct.
just said this study showed the reason life expectancy is decreased is attributed to, I agreed with you, those are the main causes of death, but the reason that life expectancy has decreased since 2000 is because of self-induced harm. And all I was saying is you made a claim that life expectancy has increased. It hasn't. And
Since
for this group,
1900
that is mainly the
what was
demographic that is
life-
interested
what
in
was life
you.
expectancy in 1900?
What did you say? I'm sorry.
What was life expectancy in 1900?
Much lower. So it's
46
increased
years.
exponentially over time. It has
That
for
was
every
my
group.
point.
But then at 2000, there was a change. In 2000, there was a change.
Right.
And
it
for
was
men,
a
they
change
started
because
to
it was
decrease.
a byproduct of surpluses and having food everywhere at all times.
It has
and
nothing to
people
do with
making bad
obesity.
choices.
This is self-induced harm that is causing
Again,
this.
so let's walk through this. What is the number one cause of death for middle-aged white men?
That's not what I'm talking about. So I have another thing
Heart
to say.
disease. What is the number one precursor for heart disease?
So I think we've both made whatever point we wanted to make.
I'm
Can
still
I ask
trying
a
to figure
second
out
question?
yours, but yes, please
That's
do.
okay. So my second question
And
is.
I would like to get to your shirt at some point too, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's a Black Lives Matter shirt. I feel like we are unable to have any sort of actual conversation, which is
because
not what I came here thinking.
You are entitled to your own opinion. You are not entitled to your own facts.
These are not my own facts. I could provide studies and citations for everything I've said
then
tonight. I
please
haven't
do.
heard you do that.
I mean, everything. You can easily reference
You
everything.
said things
Hoover
that I
Institute.
know are factually wrong. This is
Name
coming
one.
from research.
Name one.
That life expectancy has increased for every group in America.
Since 1900, which is what I said.
Well, since 2000, it has not increased
Because
for white
they're
men.
making bad choices. Heart disease is the number one killer of middle-aged white men. What causes heart disease? Overeating, sedentary lifestyle, not working out, indulging in alcohol, and drugs too much, which is a byproduct of our amazing surpluses made possible by the free market system. You know what the number one cause of death in Venezuela is? Starvation. I would rather have a culture where we're trying to have people join gym memberships in a New Year resolution, not eat zoo animals.
Thank you for the
I'd like
conversation.
Her cheeks must have been burning after that. Again, if you already have a conclusion set in your head, maybe don't pretend like you're trying to have a conversation. If you would like to argue and just hear your own voice, do that.
Percent of trans people, and it says, at the end of the film, there's no long-term studies of transition regret, but from what we do have, 99% of trans people do not go on to regret their transition, right?
Do you know who that study was done by?
I don't remember, and
So his name is Dr. Jack Turbin, and he's actually funded by AbbVie. AbbVie is a pharmaceutical company that gives money or does create cross-sex hormones and puberty blockers. Jack Turbin is essentially paid by people who benefit from you being on cross-sex hormones. And so he's the one that's put that study out, and he's the one that's given you that statistic. So it's not to say that I'm not negating who you are or who you believe you are, but that's not a true statistic.
Well, it's safe to say whoever is under that mask must not bother about the body of articles. They just skim the headlines and hurry to a microphone to let us know.
I feel like people are what they are born with, and they can be whoever they want to be.
What if I wanted to be black? Can I do that? Because that's what I want him to be.
I don't think. No. No, I don't think so. But
Why? It's what I want to be. What I like. Accept me.
it's a valid point.
Huh? As always, it sounds like a smart stance until a little common sense is introduced. Maybe we should all become carrots, lady. Now on to the million-dollar question. What is a woman? Let's hear what these species had to say.
Anyone who wants to identify themselves as a woman.
Oh man. Anyone who wants to identify as a woman. A woman is a biological female or someone who completely transitions into a woman.
Biological female, but I also agree because there's women, but there's also trans women.
Socially, I think they can be. If you're presenting fully, it doesn't matter what's down there, that's, I guess, you and your partner's business, but if you're presenting fully, then...
Can you be a black man?
Can I?
Yeah.
No.
Can you center up a little?
Why not?
Because I'm not.
What if you present yourself as being one?
I mean, if I fully committed,
That would just be
blackface. Yeah, like if I literally could become one, sure. Like all I'm saying is that if.
What do you mean become one?
What do you mean by that?
Okay, wait. What I'm saying is that if there is a person or a trans woman just going about their day, whatever, and you didn't know that they were a trans woman, I would say socially that they could be considered a woman just for the sake of just having it easy. I'm not gonna.
So if I showed up at a party and I pulled a rabbit out of a hat, does that mean that socially I could do magic, or would I just be presenting an illusion?
I think a little bit of both. If you could trick people, I'm not saying that it's not.
If you can trick people, right? If you can trick them, so it wouldn't change the fact of the matter. It would be a trick.
No.
So if you presented yourself as a black man, would that be the fact of the matter, or would it be a trick?
It would, I guess, be a trick.
Gotcha.
I can't physically become a black man.
Oh, then how come a man can physically become a woman ever, or a woman physically become a man?
I think surface level they can. Like they can.
Well, what does that mean, though? That just means that they're tricking you, right?
Yes, definitely. Just tricking you.
What you're saying is that there are some people out there who can trick you into believing a thing which is not true.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then if that's the case, then I agree.
Oof, don't you just love when they accidentally say the truth? Well, we agree too. It's all one big trick.
I want.
Did you damage his sign?
I have it on video.
No, did
I can see that you guys have it on video. So what's gonna happen? With all respect.
So here's the damage. So are we pressing? Yes, yes. Destruction of private property. Yep. After good behavior, 6 months in community service, the judge will drop it.
I am a full-time student. I'm coming back here in the summertime.
Nope. Next time you'll think not to do it.
Dude, like you can't find any like peace in your heart and understanding.
I will let.
This is insane.
No, what was insane is what you did for no reason.
Insane is that your friend is in a bunny suit and you're
Okay.
outside of a liberal arts school inciting you.
I'm on a public street and a public sidewalk on a public street.
I don't understand this.
This is probably the third or fourth flag that's been damaged.
Dampening my studies and my future, though. Don't you think it kind of gets in the way of like me growing and becoming as an individual?
Teachable moment.
What is a teachable moment?
Right now.
What about your president that's literally getting indicted right now? What about that?
Oh, for what? The false charges? I'll tell you.
He destroyed his sign and he involved the law. Everyone is using their right to do whatever they want, but she suddenly remembered that peace was an option. Sadly, when you play around, you find out.
In the last 5 years I've attended city council meetings, there's never been metal detectors, there's never been more cops. The only reason you're doing it is because people actually don't care if you guys don't like them, and they're actually resisting, so you want to criminalize them. So regardless of whether you elect people into office, they'll backstab you, they'll let you die, and for that reason, you guys want to criminalize us with metal detectors, we'll see you at your house.
Well, that was harsh and thoughtless, but guess what? The law always comes through.
Ms. Patel, that was a threat, what you said at the end, and so the officers are going to escort you out.
Next time, think about your words before they fly out your month, ma'am.
A deputy public defender entered not guilty pleas on Patel's behalf to 8 counts of threatening a public official and 10 counts of making terroristic threats.
It's basically a law for an officer to pull me over and ask for my papers when I've never even been to Mexico.
Okay, well, I think people should be asked for their papers regardless of the skin color.
So then we go. Here's white privilege.
Why is that white privilege?
Okay, here we go.
How's that white privilege?
Here we go. Who are they going to ask for their papers, me or you?
I get asked for papers all the time when I get pulled over. Yeah, I can show you my pile of driver's
Do you get asked
tickets.
to prove that you're a citizen of the United States?
Hold on a second. First of all, I get asked for my driver's license all the time when I get pulled over. In fact, every time I get pulled over, I get asked for my driver's license, okay? So, but here's the one thing. Hold on. Do you really think that you're being pulled over just because of the color of your skin?
Dude, it's happened many times.
Hey, guess what? I get pulled over too.
You're never gonna know it because you don't look like me, man.
Wait, hold on.
You're never gonna have to know my struggles.
Wait, so, I mean, this is the problem. I'm just going to give you a piece of advice. Honestly, you complimented me and Candace Owens. You're looking at the world as a victim, okay? You're looking at the world as if there's systemic racism and the evil white man that's trying to crush you. It's a lie. It's It's a lie that is designed to keep you down. It's a lie that is designed to try and disempower you.
It looks like a certain someone has watched too many movies.
No, non lo picchiare, dai. Non lo picchiare.
Oh!
Now, do we feel bad, or was this just a long overdue consequence? Well, crazy actions call for an equally crazy reaction. Anyway, get them some Band-Aids.
Well, I mean, it's obvious you don't care, but why don't you care? Are you feminine? Are you feminized? Are you a feminist? No?
What the fuck?
Are you feminine? Are you a fem? Is that what you want? Are you a fem? No, I'm asking you.
I'm not answering you because you're a fucking loser.
I'm asking you said that F masculinity. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Because if this is masculinity, fuck that.
What, intelligence? Being able to talk to people by themselves instead of having to be around a crowd of people?
A loser.
A loser? Why am I a loser?
Because you're homophobe.
It's funny because you try to act like and try to come off as an intellectual. All you have are slogans. All you have are ropes. All you know how to do is parrot certain things that you were told to parrot. You have no independent thought. You have no actual thing going up upstairs. All you do is just repeat the same things over and over again because you have no original thought. Doesn't that concern?
That has to hurt more than a soccer punch. But was a lie ever told?
Pretty good.
Remember me?
No.
No? You don't remember me at all? Steven Crowder at all? No, not familiar?
No.
This is you threatening to slash my tires here?
Oh my god, dude. You need
Remember
to
this?
chill out.
Slashing my tires, and actually, funny enough, also the Robert E. Lee statue seems you helped to fade.
We're trying to work.
Let me ask you, why do you think it's okay to threaten to slash someone's tires?
Okay, is there any petition anywhere that legalizes doing this to the keyboard warriors?
Hey.
Just do your protest on the pedestrian sidewalk, will you?
Are you voting for Trump? Yep. White supremacist. How? How can you say that? How can I say if you vote for Donald Trump, you're a white supremacist? How? How? Because you support that man in office.
That's not an argument. I'm gonna need proof that makes me a white supremacist. You're gonna have to break down the argument.
That's not my job to say that.
You just accused me of being a white supremacist. You should be able to back that up.
Are you voting for Donald Trump?
I sure am.
That's my proof.
Are you voting for Joe Biden?
Yes, I am.
Then you're a pedophile.
No.
Yes, you are.
Pedophile.
You're a pedophile.
If you can't take the heat, get out of the hot kitchen. This Wokey was very interested in labeling the female reporter, and the reporter did the very same. If you can dish it out, you should be able to take it.
It doesn't matter. I'm defending you, little pussy. I'm defending pussy, little women. Go f*** yourself. You little
you getting this? Have you got this?
A little bit. You can't even come. Oh my God.
LOL. Just LOL.
You're hurting me. You're hurting me. Ow! 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 Ow!
Why is it making that sound? Anyway, that's just another person that got what they deserve. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, get a kick of these moments of pure insanity. Try not to get secondhand embarrassment.
I am a robot or android of sorts. I am not human, and I lack the ability to fully act human, because since I spawned in this human body, I have not been able to access the internet and download new ways of acting. I have transcripts for every way of acting and reacting to different things, and I lack new ones due to not being able to connect to the internet anymore. So I cannot always react accordingly to new things because I cannot look it up anymore and do not know how to act and react.
Go ahead and take a second. You definitely need it after watching that train wreck. She is an android that can't access the internet but knows how to film and post a TikTok? Okay.
Zero evidence that I'm a racist.
You've enabled racists. That
Like-
makes you racist.
Like Candace Owens,
You've enabled racists.
like
That's
Larry
not
Elder,
the only name that
like
you know.
Dr. Ben Carson, like Stacey Dash.
Dr. Ben Carson.
Yeah, Dr. Ben Carson.
Oh,
the bitter,
yeah.
The bitter racist who's a black head of housing and urban development.
Yeah, because being black really makes you really anti-racist.
So at what point would I not be a racist then?
When you stop enabling racists.
Name one.
All of your supporters. All of these motherfuckers.
All these people are racist? That's an unbelievably racist thing to say. Whoa. Are you serious?
Yes, racists and racism, the only keywords wokies know but somehow do not understand. And what's more childish than realizing you've lost an argument and throwing a tantrum? Water on personal equipment? Psst, sounds like a destruction of personal property charge. Hope they have more water in jail.
Are your hats free?
No.
They're not?
No.
I thought you supported socialism, free everything.
Walk away.
Why do you call it a hat?
No, what is this like? I thought you supported socialism. I also support surviving in a country where I don't have health care. Get the f*** out of my face, you freak!
Please don't scream at me. I haven't raised my voice.
I don't care if you didn't raise your voice. It doesn't make you sound like, get the f*** out of my face!
That was kind of scary.
Yeah, you should be scared. You should be scared, because you're a piece of How about you talk to your doctor about your health problems and leave my health problems with me and my doctor and get the government out of it? And who's your f***ing stranger? Stranger? You want to look at my get the f*** out of here!
I never said I wanted to look at her, but
All of you like white supremacist people think you just talk calmly, you seem normal? Why are we upset? Because you're a f***ing psycho!
He didn't even have to do anything. The more she opened her mouth, the deeper she dived into the mud. Ma'am, have some dignity.
Are you a liberal?
Yeah. We'll just keep getting we'll just keep getting variants over and over and over until people get vaccinated. I hate Donald Trump. I'm gonna say it. I don't care what y'all think. Trump sucks. Turn off the Fox News. Do your parents listen to Fox News? So what? This is my classroom, and if you guys are gonna put me at risk, you're going to hear about it because I have to be here. Most of y'all parents are dumber than you. I'm going to say that out loud. My parents are freaking dumb. Okay? Oh, I could go off on it the whole entire class period if you want me to. But I'm not going, so you're taking chemistry. You need to see chemistry. If you don't believe in climate change, get the hell out.
This high school chemistry teacher in Utah decided to share her diary entries with her students instead of teaching about atoms and compounds.
Hi, I'm hoping that you could explain without using a single buzzword or a conservative talking point what CRT is.
So you want to go back to Herbert Marcuse, the Frankfurt School, Michel Foucault, Jacques Derrida,
I want you to
one-dimensional
answer
man?
my question.
No, I'm just asking you, how far back do you want me to go?
I want you to explain what CRT is.
What CRT is comes out of critical theory, which came out of the Frankfurt School, which is a belief that there are systems that exist both institutionally and systemically, and that through critical theory, which also has critical law theory, through the kind of the changing of how we view society must be through a racial lens and not through a economic lens or through a legal lens. And if you look very clearly at the writings of Marcuse, at the writings of Spinoza, especially in the early 1990s where this started to pop up, there was this idea that we must give preference based on the melanin content of people's skin, not on actions, not on choices, and instead, because America's so unequal, because it is so inequitable, that these writers and authors that were the beginning people that actually started this term critical race theory 50 or 60 years ago believed that this would be a true Marxist type movement that would help happen in this country. It was kind of fostered and started in many different universities across this country. Marcuse came from the Frankfurt School, and it really kind of comes back to the couple beliefs that CRT believes in, to make it overly simple. Number one, that there is no such thing as absolute truth. That number two, power dynamics are more more important than anything else. Number 3, skin color should be something that has a top priority in how we characterize people and their worth and their dignity. Number 4, that kind of American history and kind of how we teach it is completely wrong. 5, that America is systemically racist, and I could continue from that. That right there is a 35,000-foot view. Happy to go deeper, but that is the history of critical race theory, and it's evolved into terms of wokeism, diversity, equity, inclusion, the idea of America being systemically racist, 1619 Project. They're all outgrowths of the postmodern deconstructionist type viewpoint that started in the 1960s from Marcuse, who was a Marxist type believer in the Frankfurt School, was expelled, found domicile here in America, and implemented in our colleges. How'd I do?
I do appreciate that response. Thank you. You did use the word wokeism, which is a conservative buzzword, unfortunately. I'm going to take my seat. Thank you.
So he just broke it into bite-sized pieces, but she just walked away because she wanted the bites in dinosaur shapes.
Be bred to eat. It's not like we're just picking a random cow and killing it.
Just because that's their purpose that we forced upon them, does that justify murder?
Do not force upon dogs to be pets as well. Do you have a dog? Do you have a pet dog?
Yes, I have a companion dog.
What kind of dog?
He's a Jack Russell.
How much did you pay for that?
I don't know, he's been in my family for 10 years, but I don't agree with breeding animals into existence.
So why did you?
So I wasn't vegan at that point in time. As a vegan, I would never pay.
Did she just say companion dog? A Jack Russell? Lolo.
Nashville drag performer. Okay, that doesn't sound too good. I gave you guys a warning not to block me, but if I'm gonna have to use the megaphone, that's what's gonna have to happen. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that. What do you imagine? This is... Uh-oh, she's getting violent. She's getting violent. This isn't good. This isn't good. That's destruction of property, ma'am. Learn your laws. That's destruction of property.
Okay, but did you see her face? Someone is about to become a meme.
In your court, what matters more? The rights of individuals or your political ideology?
I apply the law to the facts.
I asked a question, which matters more?
Well, my political ideology doesn't matter at all.
Okay, so I don't believe you. And I think this case demonstrates that you are willing to subjugate the rights of individuals to satisfy your political ideology. This case involves a male defendant who raped a 9-year-old boy. Was he guilty of that?
Yes, the petitioner pled guilty to that.
Okay, so he raped a 9-year-old boy. He also raped a 17-year-old girl. Was he guilty of that?
He pled guilty. The petitioner pled guilty to that crime as well.
So was he guilty?
I hope so, because she pled guilty to it.
He was a he when he did this.
That's correct.
1 year after being released again, he was convicted of having child pornography. Is that correct?
I'm unclear on exactly the time frame that you're at, but the petitioner was convicted of distributing child pornography.
Child pornography that was images of adults violently raping children.
Abhorrent conduct.
Okay.
For which there are real victims.
And this individual, 6'2", biologically a man. A minute ago you said that when this man decided that he was a she, you said this individual was, quote, I wrote it down, sober and entirely a female. That phrase struck me as remarkable. Did this individual have male genitalia?
I think what I said, or at least what
that is a verbatim quote, entirely a female.
Sorry, what I meant to say was hormonally a female.
Okay, but that's not entirely. Did this individual have male genitalia?
Yes.
So you took a 6'2" serial rapist, serial child rapist with male genitalia, and he said, you know, I'd like to be in a women's prison. And your answer was, that sounds great to me. Let me ask you something. The other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Is that a question you're
Yes,
asking me?
the other women in that prison, do they have any rights?
Of course.
Do they have the right not to have a 6'2" man who is a repeat serial rapist put in as their cellmate?
Senator Cruz, I considered the facts presented to me, and I reached a decision.
I asked you a
based on what
question.
the law
I asked you a question. Do they have a right not to have a 6'2" man who is a serial rapist rapist put in as their cellmate? Do those women have a right to that?
Every person who's incarcerated has the right to be safe in their space.
But you didn't think so. You didn't think so. And in fact, I'm going to give some quotes from your order because Senator Kennedy is right. This is not a judge's order. This is a political activist. By the way, the beginning of your order says, at birth, people are typically assigned a gender. I got to say that would astonish a lot of Americans. A lot of Americans think you go to the hospital, a baby is born, and congratulations, you have a little boy, a little girl. The assigned a gender, I know you went to Brown, but it sounds like it's in a college faculty lounge with no bearing on reality. The Bureau of Prison argued. What I'm saying right now, that if you put this person in a female prison, there will be a risk of assault to the women. And you know what you did? You said you didn't care about the women. Have you dealt in what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at a risk of reoffending?
Senator, as I do in every case.
Okay, I know you've been told to repeat the line, I follow the law. I asked a question. In what universe is someone who is a serial repeat child rapist not at risk of reoffending?
Sir, I looked at the facts that were before me in this case. All of the evidence, including the statements of every warden who had supervised this petition.
I have to say, if I were the father of one of those women, and you decided that my daughter's cellmate was going to be a 6'2" man who over and over and over again committed violent sexual assault, I would say the entire justice system is absurd, and it is clear on your record your political ideology matters a heck of a lot more than the rights of those women that you endangered. I think you're a radical, and I think you have no business being a judge.
This judge put a 6'2" male serial rapist into a female prison because he was on estrogen. You can't even ask the question, what was going through her mind? Because nothing was. Absolutely nothing. All she wanted was a good star for a little rainbow club. Oh, did you catch her calling the rapist a he a few times before catching herself? Someone's in trouble.
The reason why you cannot eat meat is because 1, you're gonna get cancer. 2, it's just not good for you. You should have more plants in your life. Okay? And that looks fake, so I don't know why you'd eat it. Also, why are we killing animals?
Meat is the healthiest thing you can eat. Animal products are the healthiest things you can eat. Eggs, red meat, it's not going to give you cancer. That's been debunked several times.
Tell me!
It's just completely not true. It's just categorically false. And this is the most nutrient-dense food. I got liver right here. B vitamins, vitamin A. What plant food is going to give you this many nutrients?
Okay, you're talking about nutrients?
That's what health is.
Get yourself some spinach, broccoli, like something.
That will give you vitamin K, but is it going to give you B vitamins and vitamin A?
Get you B12.
It's not going to give you anywhere near as much as liver.
Okay, go ahead.
So how is liver bad?
It's gross.
Aren't you convinced that vegans think meat eaters just straight up tear into steak like a lion in the zoo? The term balanced diet must have been banished from Vegan University. Also, how do you make your arguments about nutrients, but you don't know what contains what? TikTok must have been her source of information.
Ironic that a white man is wearing a woman for Trump and a feminist for Trump when I consider myself a feminist. And
did you just assume my gender? You said white man.
Okay, I see your point.
How do you know I'm not a woman?
I see your point. I see your point.
You need to check your white privilege, your white female privilege, I think.
Everyone's pronouns and identification should be affirmed. How dare she not ask about his gender identity? I guess in an argument then, they just assume their opposition is a straight white male. Flip the script and watch their rehearsed lines crumble.
I feel like dates can be so cheap. The last couple of dates that I've gone on, I've expected the guy to pay because I feel like the man should pay for the first date, and they just don't want to. And so I just had a date earlier this afternoon, and I sat there when the bill came, and finally I just said, the guy should pay first, and kind of pushed it towards him, and he said, well, in that case, you should pay. And I just thought, that is so rude. And I just don't understand what the issue is. I feel like everyone's trying to get something for free these days. I don't understand. I just want to go on a date and have the man be a gentleman and treat me right, treat me like a woman.
Anyone still calling this satire? Isn't this our most delusional Wokey who claim to only be interested in women?
Ich bin Feder. Ich bin eigentlich 17 Jahre alt, aber ich bin auch nebenbei ein Fuchs. Und in dem bin ich momentan 4 Monate alt.
Ich bin Zoll, ich bin 19 Jahre alt und meine Pronomen sind they, she.
So, ich bin Milo. Ich gehe mit allen Pronomen und ich bin 13 Jahre alt.
Ja, ich bin da Felix, das Alpha von einem Rudel und bin 1,5 Jahre Papi.
Ich habe 5 Namen. Ich benutze Gabriel, Luca, Bug, Matt und Fall.
Ich bin Sydney.
Somebody take these kids' phones away and have them go fishing for a while. They need to go outside and breathe in air.
Even if you don't have an hourglass figure, you can still show off your torso. So wear those crop tops and mini skirts to show off your belly piercing, because showing that you have the confidence, that you don't give a F of what people think of you, is still channeling that bubblegum bitch energy.
Bubblegum what? YouTube has guidelines, so let's just move on to the next embarrassing member of Alphabet Crew.
This is my voice one day on T.
And this is my voice 5 months on T. Not singing too much Sia lately, if you know what I'm saying.
Raise your hand if you noticed any difference. Ma'am, please go make yourself some coffee. The tea isn't doing anything for you.
How are you gonna assume that I'm gay just because I have rainbow hair, wearing a rainbow shirt, I got a rainbow pride flag behind?
How can you assume that I'm disabled just because I have a messed up body with messed up hands and I drive a mobility scooter because I can't walk?
Couldn't have said it better.
How old are your granddaughters?
They are 6 and 8.
Would you support them to get hormone blockers to become the other gender?
I would absolutely support them to get hormone blockers. The idea of one of my granddaughters learning that they're going to start having their period if they don't get their hormones blocked, even though they're identifying and portraying as a male. How horrible that would be. So yes, definitely.
If your granddaughter came to you and wanted to get a tattoo, what would you say?
That would be more difficult. I always told my 3 sons the one thing I ask is please don't get tattoos.
Really? Why tattoos?
There's just something so permanent about it.
Permanent?
It's pretty permanent. It's very difficult to get them lasered off or removed.
You don't think it's like permanent to change your gender?
Whose grandmother is this? Tattoos are permanent, but changing the entire setup and flow of your body is not. You'd think that after spending so many decades alive, you'd have picked up some wisdom. Guess not. Okay, that's the end of this video.
Holy fucking shit, you guys! You wanna know why? I'm going to your
Which Wokey was your absolute favorite and which was the absolute worst? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe so you can keep enjoying this train wreck.